how's it going? I just wanted to jump back in here and do another update on insulating it. Got the driver's side and passenger side doors done. I'm working right now on the rest of it. So the back doors, some of these are just pressed in there. I don't remember if I did the double-sided tape there. I know I did it down on this panel earlier. That one's not in there. And this is the piece I just cut for the bottom driver's side. I've also done some of the inside on the back. Still have to do some on the top. For this curve, I did try and cut some of this just to see if I can kind of shape it to the curve. Couldn't really do it very well. So what I did was, right there is my test. I got a roll of 10 foot of that reflective insulation, and it literally just doubled over on itself and used double-sided tape to adhere to itself and to the wall. So I'm going to do that all along here. I don't know if I'm going to need to triple it up. I might just double it up and just call it good in the corners there. Still have to do all the front. I was considering doing the bed too, but I don't think I'm going to do that. So I've got this hook up here that I was using for my what do you call it, my like toiletry bag, but I'm going to take that off so I can insulate up here and get this piece. I don't know if I'm going to put it back on there or not. I don't know if I really liked it there, because the other thing is I can actually, I don't know how much weight I can put on that. I don't know if I'd do much there. But this has a couple of holes here, so I might be able to rig something up for a pin or something, come on off of that instead of just keeping that one there. So on this passenger side, I ended up removing the bottom rod. It's just an Allen key on whatever that piece is. Slides out of there, and then you pick it up out of the bottom there and it comes right out. Now I've got insulation there, and I'll probably do the same thing whenever I get the fascia or plywood or whatever I'm putting on there. Done with the doors. Got the rod put back on and tightened up. This is the driver's side over here. It's all done now. The rivets kind of dug into them, so this one I actually ended up notching. That was the first one I did. I've got all those done, all those done. Got the sides here, got a couple up here. I've got the side behind my fire extinguisher done, and these ones down here. Chopped a couple for that, but it's fine. So now I need to make a couple for up here on these spots. There's one there, and then up there as well on the front. And I might just take a break from that foam because I'm tired of cutting the foam. Work on some of the reflective to get these corners done really quick. Ran out right there, and what I was doing was, measuring between the ribs, cutting and then folding it over on itself. I needed more, so I need to do those front two. I got the roll from the store. I also found a strip of the molding that goes on the top here, because I was using the RV tape, but it was peeling very bad. I don't remember if I did a video of it or not, but I removed the tape, and I've been using this Goo Gone for, well, hold on, let me take a step back. Used a heat gun along with the scraper, a couple scrapers to get the majority of it off, and then that Goo Gone stuff has been working great for wiping up this, the rest of it with a sponge, the Brillo part, like the green part of a sponge, and it's wiping it up pretty good. So I'm gonna clean that all up. I'm gonna measure what I need. I'm gonna cut the new piece of trim. I do need to remove the screws on the top here that are already there, and a couple of the rivets that I put, and then I can mount the trim. I'm going to cut another piece of the insert there. That way it's all one piece instead of 3 pieces there, and that should seal up this back a lot better than what it was. Mostly cleaned up. It's good enough for what I need, and I got some of the rivets drilled out and everything, because I've got the sheet metal screws for the new piece that'll hold this. But all these other little holes, I'm going to use this Lexel and seal up all the little holes that the previous screws had. Using number 10 by 5/8 inch long self-tapping screws. These ones just have the hex head though. So this is going to be a little bit of a pain to line up, because this one is nice and flush. This one must have something sitting underneath it, because yeah, it looks like maybe something got underneath or whatever, but I tried pulling it down and it's not pulling down, so I'm going to have to kind of finagle the 1-inch vinyl in there. But the rest of them worked pretty good. I didn't want to deal with trying to trim that tape, so I just screwed through it. But the rest of it lined up really good. Alright, here's the insert, the 1-inch trim insert, and we're going to put some more of that in. I got these in there pretty good. All I did was bend up the ear there, because it feels like it's just aluminum, so it was able to go in there very neatly, and yeah, turned out pretty good, I think. Next thing I'm gonna do is finish up the insulation in those 2 panels up there. This is the carpet that I'm going to use on the roof, and I've got this wood. It's just like 3/4 inch stripping I found at Home Depot, and that's going to go on the ribs to hold the carpet up. I think it'll look nice, and I still need to figure out what I want to do for like the actual side coverings, but I'm gonna do carpet probably from like this rib all the way around to that rib. All right, all of it's insulated now. Here's the front. Got some angles in those ones, but it's all, that one's kind of patched together. I've got everything insulated now. I think that this double layer, how it's folded over like that, I think it's going to be all right to just leave it like that. So I'm going to try and fit the carpet and see how it looks. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the carpet actually mounted today, but I'll try and get it to what it looks like. This is going to be the trim for my topper, what holds in the carpet on the top. And it's 78 inches long. And that kind of worked out kind of funny figures for marking stuff out. So what I've done is I've actually shortened it to 77 for my measurements. So I started off with 7.5 inches in for my first mark, and then 7 inches after that for every single one until this end. And just on the ends, I came in an inch, so it's not half inch off of the ends there. All the ones in the center are going to be 7 inches apart, and the two ends are just 1 inch in. I'm going to finish drilling out. I've already marked kind of center as best as I could. I'm going to drill out all of these ones. I'm going to lay it on top of my other wide one here. I think, could be wrong, these are like 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 trim oak, and these ones are only like 3/4. They're going to be what's on the very top. These ones go on the piece I'll show you in the truck where the doors are, because it's wider, so I wanted it to be wider to help cover that. That's the first one done. I've tried to get these holes pretty center, but some of my marks aren't really off, but where the drill bit is. Take this one off. So that's done for now. Take one of these. I'm going to line this one up with it centered as I can. I trimmed this lengthwise to the bed. I just went off of the wood length. Hi, Cookie. So I went 78 inches. It is wider than what I'm going to need in there, but I want to have that extra material. That way I just stretch it and conform it how I need to before actually trimming the excess off. And that razor blade right there actually cut pretty well through it. All right, so I'm going to use some of these screws and start them into the wood here before I try hanging the carpet. So I have some that I can easily start into the metal. This is a new day, and I was able to get this put up. It was kind of a pain by myself, so that's why I didn't record it. But I started from this edge, sandwiched it together with that one. I didn't pull this tight. I wanted it to kind of go with the curve. I feel like might have just left too much. Maybe I should have done it tight or put adhesive or something. But it's fine. It works for me. And then I held it up, put one screw in this end, one screw in that end, and then I pulled, because all this was loose, I pulled as best I could while trying to keep that curve, to keep it flat. Once all those screws were in, I worked from the front back. On the front there, I was able to kind of roll this up like this and pull up into the curve to get it nice and flat. It came out pretty good, I think. I mean, it sags a little bit, but it's not going to be perfectly flat because there's no adhesive or anything like that. So I started down there. I put the very end screw, came down about 4, pulled it, screwed it. I just worked my way back down this way, and then I worked my way back, pulling it nice and tight with the other screws. And then this one, I gotta trim all this. I'm gonna just take a razor blade underneath that trim to get this piece of fabric off there. But I did the same thing. I kind of pushed it up into the curve here. I started on that end, one screw in with the curve, and then I came down a few, and I just worked my way down to this end. Next up, I'm installing these lights, pre-drilled, and then they come with these little, where they go? These little screws. So hopefully those work, because I don't have any other screws that'll screw into the sheet metal very well. But this seems to be working good. I've used my 5/64 drill bit, pre-drilled them, and they're going in pretty easy. So we'll see how they work. I'll have, once I get these screwed in, I'm going to have to figure out the wiring for it, because I want them to go into my Bluetti power station. So in here there's 3 ribs. I'm going to mount this one on this first rib, skip the middle one, mount one on the far back rib. We've now installed the carpet, got the lights, got my bug net, which attaches to my other door here. I've sanded down the countertop here to 600 grit, so it's very smooth. And I've also sanded out I planed out so it's more flat, because my stove was rocking on there. I don't remember if I videoed it. I originally went with black carpet up here, and I didn't really care for it, so we went with the gray. Actually, my son picked out the gray at the store. And the black carpet I ended up putting down here. I trimmed around. It don't look super great, but it'll work. Especially down here, I can't cut straight. But I trimmed around the wheel wells and everything, so now I've got kind of one of those bed carpets, bed rugs, whatever they're called. That's the tab for my sliding window there, because it locks on the outside instead of the inside, so I just went ahead and snapped it off so I can open it when I need to. It's not like anyone can really get through there. So I'm starting to put everything back in here, and so I'm going to put the bed next, the drawer system, and then I'm going to have to organize everything for my camping trip this week. So I'm wiring up these lights. I'm going to just temporarily wire it up with these. I've got the little snap connectors right there. You just pull the lever, push the wire in and close it, and they're nice and strong. Got it wired up to a 12 volt plug, just like that. Plugs into my power station right there. And these are pretty bright. You click once and it actually dims it. So that's the dimmest it goes. You click and hold again and there it goes. So they're really bright, 1100 lumens I think. And I don't know what the lumen is when it's dim, but that'll be plenty light for what I need. I'm just doing it temporarily because we're going camping here in a few days, and I really don't want to start tearing into the carpet until I get like the plywood for the front up and stuff like that. I'm just getting the truck kind of set up right now for my camping trip, so I'll do it after I get back. But what I'm thinking is I got one of these fuse blocks. So you've got a ground side and then the fuse for the power side. And then the power goes down here, the ground wire goes here, and that's what's going to plug into my power station. Came with a bunch of fuses. I've got plenty as well. So that's going to be a project for after this camping trip. Right now, we're just finishing up packing everything into here. I'm going to clean up and finish putting my bed in and stuff like that. I'll be right back with you. Another thing that I was looking at is, see how there's sun coming in right here through the window? I have the window open right now. And also, that's where I broke the little latch so I can close and open this from the inside here. I've got a pool noodle that I'm going to put between the cab and here. I know they make truck cap boots or something like that go in between there. But I have a pool noodle that my wife picked up cheap, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it to what I need and put it in there. Right now, my phone says it's 97 degrees. I may have to flip-flop that in the post. It's fine. My thermometer here inside the truck shows 99. I've got the pool noodle in, so it's not getting direct sunlight now. You can see it up there. What I'm going to do now is close this all up. Let's see. Well, I'm going to close the passenger side. This way I can do the bug net how it's supposed to be. I still have tons to trim off the bottom. But for right now, I'm just kind of tucking it off to the side here. And some of the magnets I'm getting to stick to the bed. Just like that in the corner there. 99, 97, now everything's right. So I've got my bug net there. I'm going to have my window open here. And I found this at Walmart. Let's see if I can flip this around. I've used this once already, but it's by Frost King. It's an adjustable window screen. And what I do with this, right now at least, I just put it right up there. Sits right on the ledge. And it's a bug screen coming from that direction. So, one thing that I didn't have last time was this. Now, I know a bunch of people give Hart a bunch of crap because it's a Walmart brand and this and that. But they are making some pretty cool stuff. The 5-gallon rinser I have is from Hart. They don't make that anymore, sadly, because it's a nice nice thing. I know some of the guys at work wanted one, but you can't find them anymore, at least for a decent price. But this is their fan. I think it's a 12-inch fan. And what's cool about it is it runs off their 20-volt system, or if your battery runs out or whatever, this slides open, and you've got the power cord here, so I could run it off my power station and still have a fan. There we go. So if we set that up, I mean, it's a little noisy, but it's not super bad. Oh, it's bringing in tons of air right there. You can kind of see, I can definitely feel the airflow. Not showing it's now 100 degrees in here. Tomorrow's supposed to be 97, Monday's supposed to be cooler at 81, 84 Tuesday. We're leaving Thursday, so it's not going to be too bad for our trip. I've got this light turned on right now, and I have the Blue Eddy AC 180. It's an 1800 watt, 1100 watt hour. But right now, even the DC on the output is showing 0 because this draws just so little electricity. So if I bump it up to the brightest setting, it's freaking bright in here now. But even then, it's showing only 13 watts. It's showing that it can run that for 54 hours. So it barely does anything with those LEDs. I'd like to get a little plug-in refrigerator, run it off the truck when it's running, and then run on it off my battery backup here whenever I'm camping. But my Yeti cooler does pretty good. I'll have to look into that later. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe and click on this playlist over here to watch all my truck camping videos.